and it's 11:31. Yeah, I'm just thinking that maybe we should do the COVID update paper,
if you like.
because otherwise, I mean, we probably need a relatively short, gentle paper before we do directors' fees. Right, Mary, come and be gentle at the table.
This is your respite cap.
This is our respite moment.
Great.
So it'll be very quick today, Mayor and Councillors. So just wanted to give a quick update about where we are in terms of the COVID response. Excuse me. First, just to let you know that our EOC is now moving to the monitoring stage. Sorry, I've got something in my throat. That will start over the next week with the aim that we will have closed the EOC down by the 12th of June. We're waiting advice from the National Crisis Management Centre about how to handle the 0800 number after that EOC closes down and what the intentions are. We are still, as a council, receiving between about 5 and 20 calls a day into that 0800 number. So I want to know potentially where those calls should now be diverted to, or whether we need to continue on with that. We will maintain in the EOC a monitoring on-call team ready to stand up if there's a second wave, and Health is doing a similar step, is that they are establishing a team and processes if there's a second wave at the moment. So at the moment we're not anticipating that, but we are ready if we need to. In terms of the council activity, most of our council activity is continuing as usual. We are transitioning more people back into the office over the next week after Queen's birthday, but still maintaining that the protocols around hygiene and good practice. So that's probably the update. Did also just want to, at the last briefing, the council asked for an update on service levels, service requests that were met during the lockdown. I think it was Councillor Johansson that had particularly asked for this. Just wanted to report in that during the lockdown period we received 12,500 service requests. 83% of those were completed during the lockdown. So with the vast majority of those completed within the time frame, the service level agreement time frame. Of the less than 20% that are still being resolved, half of them are still within the service level agreement. So I managed to maintain a large number of closures during the lockdown period. The bulk of the requests were about wheelie bins, 3 waters and transport. So 3 waters and transport is our normal areas that we get most requests from. So that's it from me, apart from just to let you know there are 2 national plans that are currently being developed, which we were only made aware of yesterday and today. One is our caring for communities plan going forward in COVID, and that's being led by MSD, and then also Health is leading a plan which is out for consultation at the moment around psychosocial and mental well-being recovery. So we will be having input into both of those, and we'll bring those back to council for approval. Great, that's it.
Do I have any questions? Anne?
Thanks, Mary, for the superb job again that you've continued to do on our behalf. The huge demand, I suppose, for the 0800 number. You've said that you're looking at different options in terms of how to continue that. Can you give us some ideas that what going forward? What that could look like?
So the calls for the 0800 number are dropping. So there's not a huge demand. So it varies between 1 to sort of about 20, but some days there's only 1 call a day. We're looking for some indication from Wellington, the National Centre, about where those calls should go to, because they're not traditional local government calls. They are calls largely for food parcels. And so we need some indication from them, one, whether they're going to continue to fund that food parcel, but also where the call who should be taking the calls now, rather than them coming through council.
Yanni?
Thanks, Mary, and thanks for the work that you're doing. I know you've kind of touched on it briefly previously around community sport. Is there any update you want to just share with us in terms of what's happening with community sport coming back?
We're talking to Sports Cadbury and are intending to have them in for a briefing. So that's probably where you get the good picture of it. A briefing of council for full council about what the sports codes are planning and what resourcing they are getting in from from a national level and their whole objective. So rather than try to touch on that now, could we hold that for the briefing?
I think a briefing would be really good, and I just wondered whether that could include a bit of thought into the psychosocial impact of enabling people to play sport. And I just don't know what our funding implications will be, but I suspect there may be some issues around affordability. So if that could be aligned to the briefing, I think that would be quite useful.
Yes, so the briefing will definitely include that, because you'll be aware that there's a national funding package to support, so they'll be able to brief on where that's targeted.
Jimmy?
Thank you. My question is, at the moment, still in alert level 2. However, the council, we open all of the community facility. I'm particularly concerned, probably from alert level 2 to level 1, still need to go another 4 weeks, etc. So how the council staff to monitor those enforcement of those social distancing, because now you have up to 100 people can use those facilities, whether most of the staff at the moment still stay at home to work. So how to monitor this enforcement to prevent from those community transmission happen again. This is my particular concern. Yes.
So as you'll be aware, all our community facilities are open again. Yes. The numbers aren't as high as normal, but they are growing, and we're expecting them to continue to grow. We before we opened had a contact tracing package in place, so we have been able to contact trace all the people that are coming and going. We actually have rearranged classes and rearranged equipment to make sure that there's social distancing, and the staff in those facilities to make sure that people adhere to the social distancing. So all our facilities is very good practice in terms of the public coming in and the public interacting with each other. Same with our facilities in service centres and downstairs with the counters being open now. Good contact tracing in place and good social distancing. You'll see in many of them we have the perspex screens up to avoid that spread and that contact with the public and between staff and public. In this building where staff are coming in, they are maintaining that shorter distance of social distancing, which is allowable in a workplace, but we've also got other things in place of keeping people on the floor they're working in and not moving across the building. So, and some areas are having split shifts coming in to stop that contact. So we're sort of got good practices in adhering to all the guidance. One of the things I think that everyone will be aware of is at the moment there is no indication that there's community transmission at all. And so I know that they'll be doing 2 of the cycles, so two weeks of clearance is what Health was talking about yesterday. But the risk is small at the moment, but we are maintaining good practice just in case.
Okay. Thank you.
Is there anyone else? No? Would someone like to move that the report be received? Melanie Coker, seconded by Jimmy Chen. I'll put that motion. All those in favour say aye. Aye. Those opposed say no. That's carried. Thank you, and thank you, Mary, to you and your team for an excellent job. Thank you.